What's good, Kes Canadians? As most of you know by now, Queen Naija, our most lovely girl, YouTuber girl, who is transiting actually from being a YouTuber to becoming a full-time musician, has actually come up with different kind of songs that have had a very big impact in people's lives, like Medicine, for example, or Karma, which has just lately been released. So Karma came #1 on iTunes trends, and it's really doing well. As we speak, it's still one of the top 10, and we like it, we appreciate it, and we see that it reflects what people really like and what people go through in lives, and it actually shows people what to do and not what to do in order to avoid that to be done to you. As for those who are Christians or in different religions, they say whatever you do to somebody will also be done to you. So it's not good to always try to do something bad to somebody. But now they are concerned that Karma is not Queen's song. Karma is a song that belongs to somebody else, and that somebody else is... So basically, people are saying Queen has been stealing songs from different artists, as into this album, for example, or even Medicine, which was very popular and still is.
Don't worry about me. You made it clear that you're unhappy. Yeah, go ahead and have your fun now.
You don't know my story. You don't know the day I was at my lowest point.
She's using the melody of different artists and say that it is hers. In law, this is called music plagiarism, which is the fact of using somebody else's music or imitating somebody else's music. And this can come in two different ways. Either you imitate the melody of somebody else's music, or you use a portion of that music as a sample and record it and reproduce it and make it your own. So that can be a concern, because if the author of these songs did not allow Queen to use their songs, then they could actually file a lawsuit for that. So the authors of these songs can sue Queen and try to find a settlement through court. And this is not actually a criminal act, it's a civil act which can be dealt in a civil court. But without going there, it's a case where artists will always try to figure out what to do or how to settle it, and basically they settle it and that's it. Because if it's taken to the court, it can become quite serious to the accuser and to the defendant. In a case that the accuser has to prove that the defendant, which is Queen in this case, had access to the material, the original song. This law is very old. It's actually a 1976 law that is still governing the US today. And in 1976, it was quite easy to know if somebody bought a disc that they could be listening to and imitate it. But today the world has changed so much, and the music industry is not even able to control the production to know who is doing what with music. We have different kind of apps, we have different kind of websites which sell music and so forth. You do not know who listens to what, okay? So it's not going to be easy to whoever who is going to sue Queen to prove that she had access to that music, which actually will lead Queen to win the case in case the judge is a little softer. But that will be a very costly battle, and it's not it's not advised to Queen, for example, to whoever, if that happens, to actually go that far. People can settle this in different ways. Basically, they can actually agree into paying some kind of money to the author, or even to share the profit that comes out of that money, or that album, whatever song they are selling. If they don't find a settlement, the court actually will have to do the same. They can either fine the plagiarists a certain amount of money, which can go from $100 to about $50,000. It depends on where you are in the US, but that's the federal law, and the case will be settled. Or in a worst case scenario, it could end up having Queen in jail for 1 good year. Okay, so I see that it's not really a big deal at this point, as you know, the owners of these songs are Christians. They can easily understand and forgive and let Queen use their contents, as it doesn't actually matter that very much to a Christian to file a lawsuit for somebody who also claims to be a Christian and who is trying to help her family. But we never know, you know, everybody's different, we never know. So that being said, it's always good for managers, in this case for Queen's manager, to advise her and do not pressure her saying that she needs to produce music, whoever that can be. It could be the manager, it could be the label, it could be the producer, it could be whoever that is. Do not force artists to produce music. They will actually, they will do anything to bring you something, okay? So it's always good, because music is inspirational. It's something that comes at a time you do not expect it to come. You can be having a shower and then that starts to flow, and you sing and sing, and it becomes a song that is gonna impact the world. Or you could just be eating and singing, or you can have it in a dream. So if this is not inspirational like this, and you are forcing somebody to produce music, then if they don't have any idea or they don't have anything in mind, they will go and imitate others, okay? But which again, I will say is not a big deal. In hip-hop, for example, nowadays, it's becoming a tradition, you know? Everybody is almost singing the same thing. In raps, for example, almost everybody raps the same way. So you're not going to be saying that because that guy rapped like me, I'm going to file a lawsuit against him. I'm going to sue him. I'm going to sue her. You know, it's so costly and a waste of time. So people try to settle it that way. At this point, I can just suggest that, you know, especially Queen's manager, to try to help her to relax and to make sure that they use the Queen's voice in a way that it's going to be beneficial for everybody. Because one of the most dangerous consequences could be like this. It's not going to come from the author, as I said before, it can be settled, or whoever, but from the fans, okay? If they discover or they know that Queen does not produce her own music, she's not talented enough to write her own music, and she's actually plagiarizing other people's music or other people's work, then they will start to boycott to listen to her music, and that can lead to so many other things. That's the biggest consequence of them all. So that actually will make people not to sign contract with Queen, because they know the Queen is not going to be able to sell her album. So to be careful, the manager has to find a way of, you know, advising Queen to relax and not to use other people's work, okay, because it's obviously true, she used somebody else's music, though she's denying it. She says she did not have any clue about the other music, but you know, she used to be Christian, and she sings a lot of gospel music. She used to sing in church, and with that we know that it's so easy for her to have heard that song, or even to have been listening to that song or to those songs before using them and transforming them into her own songs. Okay, so we know that Queen has a very unique and beautiful voice, which I believe can impact everyone else out there. You know, we've got these other artists who are retiring. I would say somebody like JLo is retiring. We cannot talk about Celine Dion, for example. She's retiring. We cannot talk about Beyonce, who is busy with her family. We cannot talk about Rihanna, who is right out there but really old, becoming also old. So Queen can become that generation to come of that music. She's got that voice and she can hit those notes. So the manager, you know, I'm concentrating on the manager because she's gonna act according to what the manager says or according to whatever the manager advises. So the manager, you have to be careful and advise Queen to try to use music carefully. You don't want to destroy what you are building, and it's so beautiful. I love you all so very much. Okay, so I've been talking like forever. That's it for me. Before you go, subscribe if you haven't yet, and show some love. Like, comment, and let me know what you think about Queen's situation. Okay, peace, Canadians. I have to go, and I will see you in a little bit.